back. It's been a while. It's been a year.
It's been 11 months.
11 months?
It was April last year.
It's been a year.
It really has. I hope all of you are doing well and you weren't too affected by COVID.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah.
We're Faking Sanity.
I'm Lou.
I'm Cindy. My nose is itchy. Why is my nose always itchy whenever we podcast?
I have no clue. Mystère Bulldog.
Yeah, you and your French.
Anyway, we're in Dawson Creek, BC, Canada.
Yeah.
Which is northern BC, and we run a store called Faking Sanity, and we also do that some days more successfully than others.
This year, we have not been faking it very well.
Yeah.
But that's all right. Nobody else has it either.
Yeah. It's been a tough year for a lot of people.
Used bookstore and yarn store.
Yeah.
And usually a coffee shop, but you know, just have to go stuff right now.
Yeah.
Because we can't have people sitting.
We're allowed to sit together without masks because we are roommates.
But we do have our nifty little masks that we wear everywhere
mine's on
we
the
go.
table over there, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's why no masks and sitting shoulder to shoulder.
We can get close. Sorry.
She's a little bit of a crazy creep, but
I'm really tired, so I might be even more normal than usual.
Yeah, you can dream.
Okay, so
speaking of normal, though,
we have we have good news.
We do.
We bought a building.
We did. Business has been bad for a lot of people. We were really lucky. Books and yarn are things that people wanted during the pandemic, and with interest rates so low right now, it was a smart time to buy if we ever going to.
We've been running out of space for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, we bought a building, and so we'll have tenants upstairs. We've got some offices upstairs, and we'll be on the main floor. So we're just like a block and a half, not even a block from here.
It'll be nice to have more space, though. We really have outgrown this one.
And it's really pretty space.
It is. We'll take you on a tour sometime. Yeah. Once we've finished renos.
Yeah, we just bought it. We just got the keys like 3 days ago. Yeah. So we're doing renos and all that fun stuff. Bad news?
We have to cancel Fibre Fest again.
There's still regulations about events and everything.
And groups meeting.
Well, all events are not allowed in BC right now.
Yeah.
So no Fibre Fest this year. Yeah. We discussed doing it in the fall, but it just wasn't going to work. Like if by then there was events. Yeah. But it just wasn't going to work.
So we will. We're going to see if we can do something. Some of the vendors are going to be bringing some of their stock into our store
again, like last year, and we're gonna do some. We're hopefully gonna interview a few of them on the podcast, or not on the podcast, but for the podcast
to go up for the day of the Fibre Fest. As long as we're not knee deep in like construction workers and drywall, we'll do something right on the
when it would have been last Sunday of April.
Yeah,
we should hopefully be moved by then.
I sure hope so.
Yeah,
but renos always take longer than you plan.
Yeah. So when we were renoing this place, when we moved in 10 years ago, we read something that was like, prepare for renos to either take twice as long or cost 3 times as much.
Because you either end up taking more time to do it, or
it definitely took longer than we expected.
Yeah, because we didn't have the money to make it go faster.
We'll just throw money at it.
Well, no.
I'm joking.
We lucked out because the space had just been renovated, so there's very little we have to do other than...
We just have to make it our space.
Yeah. Cut out there's 2 sides that it was originally one whole space, and they added a wall to divide it into 2 separate suites, and we're going to cut like a big entrance
between the two
so that people can go back and forth between.
It'll be great.
Yeah. So... And I turned old, and she turned old. She got grayer.
Oh, yeah!
In the past
I was
year.
just noticing I'm even more gray. I mean, it doesn't help that I have a COVID haircut.
You don't have a haircut.
I don't have a haircut. That's the problem. I'm very staticky today, but yeah, look at this gray. I'm like, ooh.
You are staticky.
Whoa!
And I had to get progressives.
Oh, yes! Yes, progressive lenses.
Yeah.
We both got new glasses.
But now I can see. It's pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Next you're going to get a hearing aid and then
Yes.
you'll be able to see and hear.
Yes, that's on its way.
Do we want to talk knitting?
Yes, let's talk knitting.
Okay.
This is normally a knitting and other stuff podcast, but we do a little bit of, what was that?
That was me burping into my shoulder so that you didn't get mad at me.
Thank you.
We had onion rings for lunch, and oh my goodness, I turned to say something, and a burp just came out. So basically, right in her face, and I'm like, oh, and she's like waving it away, and yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. I felt bad. I didn't say I felt bad, but
no, you laughed.
I did laugh. Okay, let's talk our whips.
Okay. My whips.
So I've spent the last year not knitting. Actually, that's not true. I knit a couple things, but they were for people. They've already gone off to them. I can't show you. I barely got pictures.
Yeah. Well, and some of them you didn't even get pictures.
No, I did get. Oh, I didn't get a picture of the hat.
Yeah.
No big deal. But I'm working on a new project.
Whoop, whoop.
It is this.
And what is
it
this?
Looks so nice. It is a cabled shawl. It is called.
She said she didn't need to write it down. She had it right there.
The Lundy Wrap by Claire Slade. It's on Knit Picks.
It really is nice.
It is so nice. And it's got like this moss stitch and these awesome cables.
Yeah.
And it is out of Shanty, Sugar Bush Shanty, which is a wool and linen blend.
Yeah.
You guys have seen this before because I have knit out of it before.
Yes.
Actually, another big cabled wrap.
I was going to say a gray cabled wrap. Different cabled wrap.
So, it's lovely. It's not for me. It's for my friend, Rebecca. Because she's wonderful.
She is.
Aww.
She lends us her daughter.
And she's gonna take us to Edmonton, maybe, to get some bookshelves. We need like 20 bookshelves, and IKEA doesn't want to deliver to us, so because of COVID, stupid COVID.
She is still a grump, same as usual.
I'm always a grump. But yeah, I'm really enjoying knitting it. Yeah, but I kind of work on it once a week. We have our own little,
knitting evening. We set aside Thursday nights and knit.
Yeah.
And Rebecca's daughter Kim works for us, so she stays after work.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore now that she's in class, but
I'm very happy with it. I'm really, really loving it because it's a yarn I enjoy and lovely
it's
cables.
really nice yarn.
I love cables. Yes,
I'm
you're
actually
knitting with it
too, and I think you guys saw this when I first started it.
Yes,
because it's been that long. Because I did not knit or craft during COVID.
No, you did some crafting.
I did some spinning, but that was about it. Oh yeah, but I was knitting the Weekender sweater out of the purple, and the purple always looks gray in this light.
Well, it is kind of a gray
but it's
purple,
kind of a grayish purple.
But it's amazing.
So it's a big boxy sweater with drop sleeves. So I mean, I'm big, but not that big.
Yeah. I didn't notice that it had like
split hems.
Split hems, which is perfect for you.
Yeah. And
that it would really matter because this is massive. This would fit me.
Yeah. And I'm at the point now where I can either do the cuff and have it like 3/4 length.
Yeah.
Which is where I usually get my sweaters. But this is so cozy. I'm thinking I might go full length.
Full length.
Yeah. So I knit it really, really loose gauge because I overheat really easily. Hence the linen and wool blend instead of straight wool. And really loose gauge.
It's really nice in that it's like really warm and cozy and yet not like super warm.
Yeah. And so you can see, like you can kind of see through, you can see the light through the stitches there. It's not see-through, but it should be loose enough to allow airflow so I don't overheat. So I think the long sleeves might be okay. And this would be a really big winter sweater for me because I overheat. But it's super cozy. Like
it is.
It's
it
I think
lovely.
8 inches of positive ease, and I ended up with 10. With the gauge difference, it was going to be like 12, so I went down a size and just called it good. And then I just cinched up the neckline a little narrower because I have pretty narrow shoulders.
Yeah,
so, But so yeah, it sits
slopey shoulders.
Sits kind of at this
like
width here.
It looks
Yeah.
good.
I think if I were to do it again, I would do some short rows in the neckline so that the back is higher than the front. Because otherwise the front kind of comes up my throat, or the ribbing.
The back is really...
or the ribbing, this seam sits forward because I have very slopey shoulders.
Yeah.
So I think for me, if I were to do it again, I would do that. But I would totally knit this again. It's a fun knit. I'd probably do it again in this yarn, to be honest. I really am liking it. And linen gets softer every time you wear it and wash it. Yeah. So this would be amazing. Like, I wanted it as a kind of slouchy at home, throw it over your t-shirt when you get home and it's cold out.
Rattle.
And I think it will be lovely. And I'm going to put it back in my bag now so that it doesn't make noise. But check out this bag.
Check out our bags.
So we got these
we got them in at the store, and what a shock. We each
took one home. So after the Fibre Fest last year, we offered to any of the vendors who were interested in bringing in some of their stuff to our store that we would try and place an order from anybody who wanted to. And so one of our new vendors last year would have been Gary from WeaselWorks out of Edmonton. And he carries these bags, which are done by a lady near him.
Yes, the Crafty Bass. And she's in Edmonton too.
She makes these awesome bags. So they're big bucket bags with like a solid bottom, and they stand up. And then the inside...
Found my pattern.
The inside folds down, so you can make it kind of 1.5 times the height, and there's a drawstring, so it can be even bigger.
And then there's a ton more pockets inside too.
Yeah, like all around where the fabric change is, that's all pockets. There's like
all the way around.
All the way around, and on the inside, the exact same thing. So there's big, deep pockets, like taller than my interchangeable needles, all the way around. So it's a fabulous bag.
Yes. And Gary himself does really awesome wooden yarn bowls and wooden handled crochet hooks and shawl pins. And...
Oh, go get one of his yarn bowls.
No.
Go get his Canadian
We showed it off last year.
Did we? Okay.
Yes, we did. We showed them to you last year. Look at the last.
But yeah, I liked this fabric because it's yarn balls, but half of them are sheep and half of them are yarny sheep, and then some of them are just plain yarn balls.
I like mine because they're sheepies. I like sheepies.
Do like sheepies.
Yeah. Okay. So, you have some more. You have two finished objects. You have to show them off while I have a drink.
Okay. So the last podcast we did, I'd been knitting 2 shawls. I'd been knitting this.
You'd actually started that?
Yes, because it was a shop sample for the Hue Shift shawl by Andrea Mowry.
I could have swore that was after.
And it was a kit we got in at the store. Maybe I just showed you the kit.
I'm like, you weren't showing it on the podcast for sure, because I checked to see.
Okay. Anyway, this was the kit that we got from Estelle that's out of their...
it's Cascade 220 Wave.
Cascade 220 Wave, and it's 6 balls of yarn, and it's just slip stitches. There's no fancy footwork. It's all easy, mindless knitting, which was pretty much all I could handle this past year.
Yeah, and it's fabulous. It's
but I haven't blocked it yet.
Yeah,
but
it's the perfect Dawson winter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's super cozy. Like, it's so squishy because it's so dense with the slip stitches.
Squishy. You think it doesn't ask.
You have no neck.
I never have a neck. Silly. It's trapping me.
But yeah, it's
fabulous.
super squishy, and I love...
we should put those kits up online. Oh, well, they'll go up on our website when we get it done.
Yes. So it has, like, sections that are... more spaced out with longer floats, and then sections that are less spaced out with shorter floats, and then you change one of the 2 colors and repeat, and then you change one of the 2 colors and repeat. And
this one looks kind of cool because the wave is a kind of gradient.
Yeah.
So they're all different gradients, but you can do them with solid colors too. It looks really good.
Like this here is actually, the green in here is part of this one, but you can see the green actually gets lighter as you work towards the
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Very squishy.
Very squishy. Highly recommend it.
And then this.
Oh yeah, this is another shop sample.
Which really doesn't show off. I mean, it shows off the yarn, great.
Well, it's a basic pattern because I knew that
it's the Barley, so it's got
Barley by TinCanKnits.
So it's got the section that's in garter and the rest and stuff.
You can actually see it when it's close up if you look at the difference in the direction of the blips. So here, the blips of white all go this way horizontally. I can say the word, and here they all go vertical or look like V's. So. And the yarn is Manos. She fails at hats. It's Manos Alegria.
Alegria Grande.
Alegria Grande, right. And this is the skunk colorway. And I was just intrigued at how it would knit up, so I thought I needed to try it. That's not a good hat for you. No.
I thought it looked good with my silver hair.
Well, yes, the color is good.
I'm sorry. I know I'm gray, but it's never been quite that visible.
The slouchy hats look better on you.
Yeah, they do. This needed to be slouchy.
Yeah.
Jeez, make it slouchy.
Well, I wanted it so that I could wear it. And I'm not quite so big head. See, it is slouchy on me. Because I don't have a lot of hair to fill that.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I kind of do.
Anyway, it was my first time knitting with the Alegria Grande, and I really love it. Yarn.
I love both it and the Alegria.
Yeah, I knit with the fingering weight before, but it's so squishy once you get to this weight.
I knit with another Manos. Well, I mean, Manos used to be like one of my favorites ever before they changed all their yarns. And I mean, they made them better, so I just always loved their colors.
I didn't love their bases before. I loved their colors, and now I love both. This is so squishy. So, yeah, I'm quite thrilled.
Well, so I don't have any other knitting to show you, but I did some other crafting.
This is
apparently
epic.
My year has been the year of cross stitch. So I finished this cross stitch.
That's amazing.
Isn't he squishy? He's Aslan.
He really does look like Aslan.
It's the same picture that they used, like it's a stock photo that they used on the books. on the movie poster for Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But yeah, I love it. I just haven't got it framed yet, so that's my next project.
That's awesome.
That one took me a while.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple little ones. I did this one for Dano. I think I'm going to put it on a bag for
one
her.
of our staff.
They know.
You guys know Dano. It's cute.
I just like it's such a good pun. Zero flocks given. Anyway, yes. What?
It's a pun if 3 birds is a flock.
And then I just started doing some bookmarks. So it's going to be a bookmark.
It's two-sided.
And so I did Hufflepuff. It's the badger and
the uniform.
And I just I'm going to do interfacing and fold it in, stitch them together, do some fringe on the end.
It's going to be cool. And we're going to do some for Kim, who works for us, and her sister.
Yeah, this one's for Jessie.
That one's for Jessie. Because she's a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, she's such a Hufflepuff.
She is.
And then Kim is going to get a Ravenclaw one.
Yeah.
And then if I'm still in the mood for doing them, I'm going to sell some at the store whenever I get some done. Yeah. I'm just really in a cross-stitch mood lately.
Like every night she goes into her room and disappears and takes off her glasses.
Yes.
And holds her cross-stitch up here.
Actually, last night it wasn't bad. I was watching a show on my phone, and I had my reading glasses on. But because I was just doing it was basically it's got a black frame, so yeah, it's like 4 stitches wide, and so I didn't even have to look at it. Yeah. So that I could leave my glasses on for, so I could actually watch something because. without being able to, like, with my glasses off, doing the cross stitch like this, I literally do. I cross stitch up here.
Like 3 inches from her face is the distance she can see without her glasses. So.
I usually listen to audiobooks, so I have listened to so many audiobooks this year. It's ridiculous.
I'm listening to
we're not going to save it for...
Oh, okay. I'm not telling you what I'm listening to right now.
We have a section at the end for that.
True. It's true.
Okay. We have one... Oh, no, you have some spinning, right?
Oh, yes. So in the year that shall not be named,
oh God,
I did a whole bunch of spinning, and I didn't bring it all. I didn't do spin at all until Tour de Fleece, and then I spun like
tons,
kilogram, just over a kilogram in those 3 weeks, and then I didn't touch my wheel again. But I thought I would show you the one that I'm most pleased with. So this is a Haunui.
What a shock! It's Haunui?
It's Haunui. Haunui.
Haunui, right.
It's Haunui wool from New Zealand, from Kate of Heavenly Wools, mixed with silk. Oh, and it's mixed with the tussah silk, so it's not super shiny. It's just got a really good, and I just love her colors. Like, they're always super saturated and
just amazing.
Yeah. So I was actually looking, I spun some navy that's kind of close to the blue in here.
It's not blue, it's purple.
It's bluey purple. There is some blue inside. Like the purple fades to blue.
I'm like, we often don't agree on colors, but that's purple.
Yes, that one is purple. But I spun some navy that looks like the navy in here, and they were side by side. So I think I might do something like with garter and lace and have this as the garter bits so that it really shows off the color. So
that'd be lovely.
We'll see.
Yeah, so you're keeping it for yourself?
I think so. Yeah. Or it may end up for sale at the store.
It's very soft.
I like the tussah silk because it's not super delicate and like it's not super shiny, it's not super girly, it's just you know what I mean. Like I'm not a sparkly person. But it's got like great hands, so it's super limp and it doesn't it's not stiff when you knit it up. It's really nice for shawls and scarves.
It's got great hand, so it's limp.
She's still crazy and still sick.
Oh yeah. Show off your fiber.
Okay. This is actually pretty awesome. I saw a lady on Facebook, and she is Jen from the Yak Ranch, and they raise Tibetan yaks for breeding and for meat, but they also do fiber. And she had posted this awesomely cute video that just happened to show up on my feed because Dano, our staff, likes any video with animals in it that are cute.
Pretty much, yeah.
And so it showed up, but she had a bison and yak cross, and she was at that point selling the animal, and she had a bit of the fiber from him, so she called it Yakalo, and it just sounded so adorable. The animal was adorable. The fiber sounded fascinating, and I wanted to try it. But so I contacted her, and she didn't have any of that left, but she did have some of her yak.
Yeah.
And like, this is not cleaned. Like, this is her not cleaned yak.
Which is like
it's not been de-haired, but look how clean that is. Like,
there is less in this than in like Briggs and Little yarn.
Yeah.
Like in a rustic yarn.
Yeah. Like, what is there? There's a little piece of leaf here and a little piece of, I don't know, hay there, and a tiny little bits. But yak is so fine. Like, I don't know if you can see how fine those hairs are.
No.
Can you see it in front of my hand? Like, it's so fine, it disappears against my skin and it's brown. But this is going to be a treat to spin. So I think,
and it doesn't smell.
Well, it does, but probably not like wet sheet.
No, well, it's not wet.
Yeah.
But like, you know how some fibers are like...
super soft, and I got 8 ounces. Yeah. So I think 4 ounces will be a gift or a prize if we do a spinning thing.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to keep it for something special like that.
That'll be cool.
So, yeah. So that's my fiber. It's a lot of fiber. Yak spins really thin, so I haven't decided if I'll spin it on its own or if I will like blend it with some wool. And but Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And we have one more craft that we did.
Yes.
So for a time last year, we were allowed to have small
classes in BC.
Classes, yeah, group gatherings.
Yeah. We could, for about 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, which we fit a class in perfectly.
And then,
so we made moccasins.
Yes. I made moccasins too. Here.
So yeah, Lou has really been exploring her roots, and she really wanted to do this, so I joined her, and it was so much fun.
It was. Margaret is a local lady of Inuvialuit descent, and she teaches like traditional moccasin making.
Yeah, so we beaded.
My bottoms look a little tattered because I wear these all the time.
I haven't been wearing mine much.
But yeah, we beaded, we made them everything from scratch. Like
yeah, it was so much fun, and of course we immediately went, we love this craft, we want to do more of it. So we ordered some leather to do some. I think we're each going to make some mitts and maybe some more.
Yeah, I want to do some gifts.
Yeah,
for my family and a couple of friends, and yeah,
so it was loads of fun.
Yeah, and I found the place I had found to buy the leather when I looked into it is actually from Quebec, which is where I'm from, and they gather fleeces,
huh?
Sorry,
hides.
They gather hides, still on the fiber, from basically the area my family's from, and like just a tiny bit to the west. But they also do things on the trail, on the powwow trail with the Wabanaki Confederacy, which is Abenakis are the native tribes that lived in my area.
Yeah.
When I was, before.
Yes.
Not when I was there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so very cool.
It's very, very cool.
And they're super comfy.
Yeah. I think that's all of our crafty things.
Yes, we ran through all the crafty things.
We didn't craft a whole lot this year.
No, really didn't.
We just...
I slept.
I
slept.
Yeah, me too.
When things feel overwhelming, I don't sleep well, so I crawl into bed and try to catch up on sleep, and it takes, 12 hours to get 3 or 4 hours of sleep.
Games. Lots of iPhone games.
Yeah.
And lots of reading. Speaking of which, it's Culture Consume.
We're going into Culture Consume?
We are. You want to talk?
I feel like I've been talking the whole time.
No, you haven't, but I can talk first if you want.
You talk first.
I have read many books this year. I'm not going to cover them all. I hit my goal last year.
I was going to say, how many are you up to this year?
Oh, this year I'm already up to 34, I think. Last year I had a goal of 100, and I did 185, I believe. Books and audiobooks, and yeah. I was just gonna check. So this year my goal is 122. Yeah, I do Goodreads. If any of you guys are.
Oh, speaking of which, okay, I found a new app, or website. It also has a native app, but called StoryGraph. And if you like the idea of Goodreads but think the recommendations for what to read next aren't very good, StoryGraph looks like a fabulous thing. Like if you're just using it as a journal to chronicle your reads, they both do the same thing. But StoryGraph has, like, instead of just what genre or what shelf to put it on, it has, like, it asks questions on a few different things, like, is it character-driven or plot-driven? Is it fast-paced or slow-paced? Is it, and then there's a, like, check all that apply. That's, like, is it stressful? Is it a thriller? Is it psychological? Is it physical? Are there triggers? Like, and so you can mark those things for you, but then when somebody else is looking at a book, they only show the ones that at least a certain percentage of people choose.
Yeah.
So, like, if one person read, I don't know, Diana Gabaldon and said, ooh, that's erotica, it wouldn't show up in a search for erotica. It would show up as fiction, which is where most people have it, because only one person said that. So it sounds really cool. And then the recommendations so far are really close to what I like to read. And I haven't put, like, I've put half a dozen books, maybe a dozen books in so far. And the recommendations all seem like, ooh, I want to read that.
Okay.
So I think their recommendation, like, and that's what they said they were building the site for for a better recommendation engine. And I think so far it looks really good.
So last year, my reading challenge, my goal was 100 books, and I did 190.
Yeah.
So this year, I made my sister pick how many books, and she picked 122. And I'm already at 37, so I'm 15 books ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you still trying to read The World?
I am, but this past year, I've very much just been reading whatever catches my fancy. Like, okay, at Christmas, I watched Bridgertons. I'm sure some of you did. And then I went and reread all the books. I've been reading a lot of, strangely enough, I just read a couple on plagues and mosquitoes and historical fiction. I've just been kind of reading, well, and also
a lot of history too. Like you were reading the Gulag and Gulag Archipelago. And...
No, not Gulag Archipelago. The Gulag by Anne Applebaum.
Right.
Books about the Incas, the Vikings, and then like
fluff. Pure fluff.
lovely fluff. But I am almost done. I'm reading one called Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows. Erotic Stories for Punjabi Widows by Balli Kaur Jaswal. And it is amazing. So it's about this Punjabi girl in London, like she's been raised not very traditionally, and she ends up getting a job. It's supposed to be teaching Punjabi widows
English, right?
No, creative writing, and then but actually the lady who was organizing it sold it to the widows as learning to write. So like learning to write English, but then so they're kind of like, well. And anyway, they start telling erotic stories. It's hilarious and really interesting, and I highly recommend it.
That's cool.
What about you?
I'm listening to James Rollins' story right now, the first in the Sigma Force. You're petting yourself with your slippers.
It's very nice. I've never been a leather person, and yet this
really nice.
This is amazing.
And no microfiber.
You know what? We must have talked about these because I remember wrapping the blue leather.
Thing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We talked
about it.
She's been wrong like 3 times this week, and it's Tuesday.
It's because
it's Monday. She's been wrong 3 times this week, and it's Monday.
I'm tired.
Yeah, when her sister suggested we look into this building that had come up on the market, we were like, I can't think of a single reason not to, other than I'm too tired to look into it and do the running around for it. And she was like, well, if I look into it and do the running around and the like getting the info, would that be okay? So she kind of like put everything together, contacted real estate agents,
mortgage
banks,
brokers,
everything, and then kind of said, okay, if you want to do it, this is the information you need.
And we did it. Everything was great, but now we're like, oh my goodness, we have to move now. We have to do renos and move.
Books.
30,000 books, basically.
Yeah. And like 55 90-pound bookshelves plus the 20 or so we're ordering.
Oh no, we only have like 38. Oh, but we are taking those ones from the front now that we weren't planning on taking. Anyway, it's going to be great when we're done.
It's going to be fabulous.
We're just a little...
Next month is going to be crazy. And this month.
And so, of course, instead of sleeping, I'm lying in bed at night.
Thinking about what kind of sink we need to put in.
Exactly. Yeah.
I, on the other hand, am dreaming about us being decapitated by bookshelves in a car accident on the way to pick them up, because right now we can't get the bookshelves we want. So when they come in, we have to go pick them up in Edmonton. And decapitated by bookshelves.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. Speaking of decapitation by bookshelves, my other culture consumed lately, I've been watching 911. I have no idea. Someone told me about it, and then I don't know, I saw pictures from it or something, and I thought it looked interesting. Plus, I love Peter Krause.
I was like, but it's Peter McCall. It's
Casey McCall. Yes. And Angela Bassett, and like the actors are great. Anyway, so I've been watching it on Disney Plus, and it's really good. I was like, it bills it on Disney Plus as a soap opera, and I'm like, it's so a soap opera, but it's really. But
a soap opera based on medical.
Yeah. So it's first responders. It's a fire team. Plus there's a cop and there's a 911 operator, and they go to some of the craziest calls. The why I said decapitation by bookmark or book shelf reminded me. Yeah, because one guy got a piece of rebar through his head.
He was fine, apparently. I haven't watched it yet.
Through his forehead. It was. Yeah, there are occasionally times when I'm like, oh, I can't look. Oh, gross.
That has actually happened. It's a famous case in psychology, because it's when they found out about the different areas of the brain.
Yeah. Anyway, so it's good. It's really good. I would highly recommend it.
And it's on Disney.
Yeah, because it's on Disney. Stars. Well, the first 3 seasons are, and then the 4th season is on something else we have.
Is it?
I'm assuming Netflix. Because what else do we have?
That might be where I saw ads for it. Because I was like, she was like, does he look familiar? And I was like, kind of, but not really. And it's because, so Peter Krause, is that his name?
Peter Krause, yes.
Played Casey McCall on Sports Night, which we've talked about before, but it is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. Like, from 25 years ago. 20
years ago.
2000?
22 years ago.
Okay. It is.
She's so picky.
Behind the scenes on a sports news show.
We've talked about it many
If you haven't
times.
seen it, or if you're just tuning in and you haven't heard us blab about it before, it's amazing. Like, I have entire speeches from that show memorized.
And the thing is, I'm scared. Like, actually, it's held up pretty well.
Yeah.
Except for maybe the episode about Y2K.
Oh, yes.
When they were doing a trial run for Y2K.
The Y2K one doesn't hold up well, but like they deal with race issues, and like the 9 Southern Gentlemen episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of it holds up really well, and it's just witty banter and hysterical actors.
It's not on something, I don't know. I thought I had seen it somewhere, but apparently not.
But, yes. So it's Casey, but like 20 pounds heavier and 20 years older.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He looks really good.
He plays a 50-year-old, which is, it's nice. Like, people actually play
their age.
And like, it has, 50-year-olds and 23-year-olds or whatever. I don't know how old they are. And people in between and different races. And I don't know. A lot of people right now have issues with watching shows with cops, which I don't blame you at all. Yeah. But the one cop that it deals with is a black female cop, and she's fabulous. She's played by Angela Bassett. She's amazing.
I've been, what else have I been listening to? I found a new podcast this week, and it was this cosmologist who's never watched a lot of the classic sci-fi, because she wasn't a sci-fi kid. She wasn't into sci-fi as a kid. So now, as like a thing while she was procrastinating on work, she decided to do a review of watching watching the movie Contact, which was based on Carl Sagan's book.
Yeah.
And she was like, analyzing, like, okay, it's sci-fi,
this is
this is pretty good, or
what? It's totally wrong.
it was so funny watching it. And so I've listened to a couple of hers now, and I subscribe to her podcast. That's cool. And I can't tell you...
someone is coming in.
I can't tell you...
Oh, my sister's coming in.
Oh.
Sorry. That's okay.
That is Michelle.
She's been on before.
Yes. So it's been a really fun podcast. I don't have the name because I didn't plan on talking about it today, but I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
And
I think that's it, right?
I have one more.
She has a book.
I ordered a book. I never order books because we have so many.
But I found this one.
She found this one and was like, "Do you want it?" And I was like, "Yeah." Yeah. So Ben Miller is an astrophysicist turned comedian. He's British, and he, if you've heard me talk about Primeval, he is the cranky bureaucrat in Primeval, which is about breaks in the time continuum, basically, that allow dinosaurs to come through in modern day London.
He's also the first detective on Death in Paradise.
Yes. Also fabulous show.
Excuse me. No more onion rings for me.
Anyway, he wrote this book called The Aliens Are Coming. And it's not about the search for aliens, but it's about the science that has been created in order to search for aliens. And it's just like they describe it as
not necessarily aliens, but life on
alien life. Yes. Aliens could be bacteria.
Yeah.
But it sounds fascinating, and I love it. I'm going to read you the little blurb about the author because it's 3 lines long, and this tells you his sense of humor quite well. Ben Miller is, like you, a mutant ape living through an ice age on a ball of molten iron, circulating a supermassive black hole. He also happens to be an actor, comedian, and a trained quantum physicist. He continues to struggle with the idea that he may never be an astronaut.
He's fabulous.
He's fabulous, and I can't wait to read it. I think it's going to be one of the best science books I've read in a while. And I read a lot of science books.
You do? Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't wait.
Cool. Well, we will podcast again.
Yes, before next year.
Yes. Thanks to everyone who reached out to us and said, "I hope you're doing all right. We missed the podcast."
So many of you have, and honestly, thank you. There were times where the only energy we had was to go to work and come home, and I was going to bed at 6 or 7 at night sometimes. And we really appreciated you reaching out and just saying hi and checking in, and it meant a lot, even if we didn't have tons of energy to do extra stuff like the podcast this past year. But.
Yeah, because we have not been working from home.
No. And especially, so here in BC, we were kind of locked down for our industry for about 3 weeks, and then we were back to work.
No, we were closed for 6.
6 weeks?
6 weeks. We were closed for 6. The store was closed, so we were doing deliveries and pickups and stuff.
Once we reopened, you had limited people in the store, but I had gotten so used to not having people around that I was close to a panic attack every time more than 2 people came into the store. And it's taken months to get used to more than that. Yeah. Months and months and months.
We're here.
So we're slowly getting better.
Are you leaving again? Oh, no. Okay,
she's gonna go in the kitchen.
No, she's not. She's right there. I can see her. See right there.
Oh, you're right. And
okay.
Try not to be in your phone.
We'll leave you with a beautiful lion.
Bye.
See ya.